Alright guys, what's going on? So, as you can see, I got 3 Skyrim Dawn Guard full helmet raw casts here, and these are the 3 that I showed you in my other video, which I might delete, I'm not sure yet. But the reason I'm making this video is because nobody was buying these raw casts that I made, so I figured that I could just go ahead and paint them up like I did mine, and sell those, or try to sell those, see if anybody would buy those over the raw casts. And during the process of making those, I could go ahead and make a short painting tutorial, because the only one I have on YouTube is pretty old, and there's a bunch of different ways you can paint stuff. And for these, since they're silver and like medieval type helmets, it's like a different process, a little bit different anyway, so I just figured I'd go ahead and make a quick tutorial on that while I was doing it. And yeah, I guess that's it. So as you can see, I've already started cutting out the lenses. I used my Dremel tool. The blade or the cutting wheel wouldn't go into the small cracks here, so I gotta file those out. So you can do that, and then I'm gonna wet sand them real quick. I'm not gonna do it too much, just because they're medieval, like I said, and they're supposed to be beat up, but I just want to knock down some of the sculpting marks. So I already have a tutorial on wet sanding, so if you don't know how to do that, you can go look at my channel. But basically, if you want the helmet to be really smooth and shiny when you get done with it, then you're gonna want to spray a coat of primer on here first before you wet sand it. But if you're just gonna make them battle damaged anyways, and you don't really have to spray primer on it before you wet sand it. So I'm not gonna spray primer on these first. So I'm just gonna take some 220 grit sandpaper and wet sand these down, and then I'll come back. So see you then. Okay, so I got the helmet primed, and I didn't give them like a full, real thick coat, because I just wanted it on there to help the black stick. But I'll show you what the primer is. It doesn't matter what brand you use. This is Krylon, but it's just primer spray paint, and it just helps the color coats stick onto the helmet, or whatever you're painting for that matter. And it also helps fill in tiny sand scratches and stuff like that, if you get like the filler primer. But the cheap stuff works just as good usually for this kind of stuff. So anyways, I got all 3 of them primed, and now I'm going to spray them with some flat black paint. This is like rust control. It's the only thing I had, so again, it doesn't matter what brand. I usually try to use the cheaper stuff just because it works just as good, but Krylon or Rust-Oleum are good brands to use too. So anyways, you're just going to shake up the spray paint, but you just shake it up for however long it says on the can. Usually it's like a minute, and then you're just going to spray a real thin coat of flat black onto the helmet. Now you want to get it pretty thin, because you're going to be putting silver over it, so you don't want it to like bubble up or anything, and you're not going to really see the black too much, but I'll explain that later. So just get it on there enough to cover it, and I'll show you real fast here. So let me shake this up. Alright, so got it shaken up good, and so you're just going to spray a light coat. So on the can, if you read the instructions, it tells you hold it like 6 inches away and do some even strokes. Keep it even distance away and everything. So it's not really super important for this one, because like I said, you're going to cover it up with silver anyway. So just kind of go back and forth. And it's different if you're painting something where you want it to be perfect. I'll probably make another tutorial whenever I have another helmet that I want to paint with like actual colors instead of silver. and I'll probably make another tutorial and show you guys how to do that, because it's a little bit different when it's not silver, you know, and you want a good coat of color paint on there. But for this, we just want to make it to where a little bit of black will show underneath the silver once we get done. Dry brushing is what the technique is called, actually. I don't know if I said that yet or not. Okay, so that looks good enough to me. And you're going to want to try to get it in the crevices, because that's really where it's going to show up. So, like, I don't know how well you can see this, but in here, in the crevices in there. So that looks pretty good. A little bit more up here. Alright, so that one's done. Let me show you real fast up close. So as you can see, just a real light coat of black on there. Flat black. Semi-gloss works too, but flat's better, because it looks more like dirt and wear and grime and stuff. So actually I missed underneath there. I'm going to do that real fast. Okay, so that one's done. I'm going to go ahead and do the other ones. Alright, so I got them all sprayed with black, and I'm just going to let them dry for maybe 15 to 20 minutes. You know, just give them enough time to dry up good, to where when you're putting on the silver, it's not going to like peel up or anything. And you can read the back of the can too, because it varies sometimes between different brands and different paints and stuff. So I'll wait for these to dry, and then I'll come back and we'll be ready for the silver. Alright, so the black here has been drying for like 15-20 minutes, and I'm ready to put the silver on. So this is Rust-Oleum silver. Again, you don't have to use this brand, it's just what I have. So I'm going to shake it up for... Alright, so we got it shaken up, and what you're going to need is a brush. This is just a throwaway 2-inch brush. You can buy them at like Walmart, Home Depot, stuff like that, and they're real cheap, you know, just good for a couple uses if you wash them out with acetone. As you can see, this one I've already used it once on mine. But what you're going to do is you're going to take the spray paint, the silver, and you're just going to spray it onto the brush itself, and spray it a couple times on either side, just like that, and try not to get it on the helmet. And then while it's still wet, you're just going to take it and brush it onto the helmet. Now if the paint is a little bit dry, then it'll make kind of like that, and it won't cover up the black very well. So you have to get a little bit wetter sometimes. I mean, if you like it like that, you can just leave it like that. I like to go a little bit more on the silver, because that way it looks more like metal. So, spray a little bit more on there, and brush it on, and there you can see it gets real silvery and covers it up nice. And you can try different brush strokes. Sometimes dabbing it like that creates a cool looking effect, or you can actually just brush it back and forth like you would regularly. And as you can see, or I don't know if you can see or not, let me get a little bit closer here, but the black is showing up in the recessed areas around the edges and stuff, but in here where it's smooth, you're going to see that the silver really gets in there well, but still leaves a little bit of a trace of the black, and it kind of gives it like a brushed effect, which kind of looks like you know, like a hammered aluminum or some you know, metal, whatever kind of metal. So you're just going to do that over the entire helmet, or wherever you want to do it. You know, for this one I'm going to do it on the entire helmet. And just get it to how you want it. so I'll probably do a little bit more and then maybe give you a close-up view of it. So again, just for a close-up, spray it on there, and then take the helmet and just brush it on there like that, or you can dab it like that and it creates a different look. And it helps if you kind of vary it, you know, and you can go back over the areas that you've already done with a different brush stroke, and sometimes it makes it a little bit different. So just keep doing that until you get the desired effect that you want. And so I'll do that to all these 3 helmets, and then I'll come back and show you what it looks like, and we'll be ready for the alcohol inks, which you don't have to do, but I like to do because I have them and it makes it look a little bit better to me. Just add something else, you know. So let me get these done and we'll do that. Alright, so as you can see, I got them all sprayed up with silver, or dry brushed up with silver. Got them all done. And so you're going to want to let these dry, the silver paint, a good probably half an hour to 45 minutes, maybe even an hour or so, depending on the type of spray paint. This silver that I have, it takes a little bit longer to dry for some reason, probably because it's Rust-Oleum. But you know, just give it a good amount of time to dry before you put on the alcohol inks, if you're going to do that. If you're not going to use the alcohol inks and you're done with, you know, with the helmets now, but I'm going to go ahead and put the alcohol inks on there. And the way I do that, you dab paper towels on there, so if the paint's still kind of sticky, then it's going to leave the little fibers of the paper towel on the helmet, and you don't want that. So make sure these are good and dry, and probably like an hour or so is like a good time. So I'll come back when these are dry and show you guys how to do the alcohol inks. So see you then. Alright guys, so the silver has dried pretty well. It's been a couple hours, and I'm going to talk about the alcohol inks. So this is what the jar looks like. So they're Adirondack's Earth Tones alcohol ink, and then they have like different colors like latte and ginger and, you know, names like that. I bought these at Michael's quite a while ago, like a year or so ago, so I don't know if they still sell them or not, but this is what I use. And again, you don't have to use these. I just think it adds a little bit more to the helmets, like weathering and stuff. So I'm going to show you real fast how to use them. So as you can see, I've put a little bit on there already. I don't know if it's glaring or not. But basically all you're going to do is, let me see if I can do this with one hand. Just take the alcohol inks, and you can also do this with like watered down black paint or watered down brown paint, I've heard. So, you know, it's pretty much the same thing, but I just use these because that's what I have. So you're just going to put them on like a crevice, and you can see it kind of runs down into the crevices. And you can do that in a couple places at once, maybe, you know, wherever you want to. And then you just kind of dab them with a paper towel and remove the excess, and it leaves behind kind of an imprint, not an imprint, but like a residue look. And they'll still be wet for like a few seconds, and then after like 20 seconds, 30 seconds, maybe they'll dry up, and then they're, you know, they're pretty permanent. So you can just do that all over the helmet where you want to. And you can do different pressures, like for these kind of crevices here. I usually leave it kind of thick because that's where like dirt and stuff's going to build up, is in the crevices. But sometimes, if you've seen my other video on my Dawn Guard helmet, you saw that I put a little bit here and then kind of let it drip down a little bit. Let's see if I can get it to drip. There you go. So kind of drip it down, and then you can wipe off most of that, or really dab it off so where you can barely see it, and it kind of leaves like a drip effect. You know, it looks like it's been wiped off and cleaned, but still leaves a little bit of residue. So you can just play around with these, and you know, it's all personal preference of what you want to do with them, and you know, experiment with them. So I'm going to go ahead and finish these helmets, and then I'll come back and show you what they look like. So yeah. Something I forgot to mention before was that you want to try to make it look natural, like the drips. You know, you're gonna want them come down, you know, down vertically instead of like sideways or something weird like that. And try to look at the helmet and figure out where dirt would accumulate, and like mud and stuff like that, in a real life scenario. So like these holes here, you know, you can put them in there and just have a little bit dripping out of them like that, and then dab a little bit away. And you know, it looks more realistic if you find places where it looks like dirt would really collect and stuff. So I think that was it. Just wanted to say that. Alright guys, so I got all the alcohol inks on there, and these helmets are done. So like I said before, these are going to be for sale instead of the raw casts. Hopefully they'll sell better. So you know, that'll be on my Etsy profile. I'll put the link in the description, and I hope this tutorial helped you guys. And if you have any questions, just leave a comment, and I'll try to help you out. So thanks for watching. Talk to y'all later.